Hi guys, thank you very much everybody for joining me once again. We've seen all six teams in the Pakistan Super League now, having played one match over the course of this weekend. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to do an early assessment of the various teams, the various squads, the tactics, and how we see the tournament progressing in terms of this team's, or each of the team's capabilities. Let's start with the first match, Lahore Qalandars, Islamabad United. At the start of the tournament, felt that these two were the strongest teams. Are we seeing a potential final in the first game of the tournament? Who knows? Let's wait and see. You never know how these tournaments are going to progress. But on paper, Lahore Qalandars and Islamabad United, I feel, are the two best and strongest all-round squads with many match winners and players who can change the course of a game in the space of a few overs with bat or ball. I mean, it was an interesting game because Islamabad United needed a good start to the tournament by Shadab Khan. Shadab has received a lot of criticism in terms of his domestic performances for Islamabad United, and also he wasn't very good here in England when he played county cricket last season. And also for Pakistan, he's been struggling. He's been in and out of the side with injury, of course. But to start the tournament the way he did as captaincy and the fantastic innings that he played, that will have been a breath of fresh air for Islamabad United and a much needed and welcome boost for them. Because if your skipper's doing well, his confidence is high, then that's going to have a very positive impact on the rest of the players as well. And his partnership with Salman Ali Agha was a brilliant example of how to chase a large total down. They didn't panic. They had a game plan, and they complemented each other very well. They paced and they reached the target with relative ease, which is really surprising considering the opponents were Lahore Qalandars. Now, in terms of Lahore Qalandars, I thought they got a few things wrong. I thought the bowling changes from Shaheen Shafi, they were a little bit up and down. It's going to be very interesting for Lahore Qalandars this year without Rashid Khan. I mean, everybody knows he's a world-class bowler, and in T20 cricket, you can give him the ball. You know he's going to bowl you four good overs. You know, he's not going to go for many. Even if he doesn't take wickets, teams aren't going to take risks against him. And, it's four guaranteed good overs for a captain. But to fill that void, that gap for Lahore Qalandars this time around, it's going to be a big ask. Even with Rauf and Shaheen Shafidi and Zaman Khan and others there, missing Rashid Khan, not having him available is going to be a huge loss for Lahore Qalandars. The other thing I was going to say about Islamabad United, just going back to them, is that they've got a very, very astute tactician as their coach, somebody who reads the game. He's not big in terms of media and what he says, and he's not out there in terms of making big statements, but he'll be quietly assessing the opposition, looking at the opposition, working things out regarding the opponents. And he's a good man to have in the dressing room as well, because he'll be supporting the players. He'll know a lot about the players as well. He'll have done his homework, and I'm sure he's a very fine student of the game as well. And you look at that top six for Islamabad United, and even the top seven, because I've got the names written down here: Munro Hales, Shadab Khan, Salman Ali Agha, Imad Wasim, Haider Ali. Yeah, Haider's been off the boil, but that top seven there, it's just littered with match winners. Every one of those guys can smash the bowling to all parts, and then you've got other guys like Azam Khan and others there as well who can support these guys, and they can hammer any bowling attack out there. There's absolutely fantastic lineup they've got. Coming back to Lahore Qalandars, they'll be disappointed that they couldn't defend 195 against Islamabad United. As I said before, I think Shaheen Shafidi's captaincy is going to be thoroughly tested this time around. It won't be plain sailing for Lahore Qalandars. They'll be the team that everybody wants to beat. They're the reigning champions. They've won the tournament twice. They've got quite a bit of work to do, I feel. And again, it's early days. It's only one match, one defeat, but they'll be looking at that performance with a fair degree of disappointment. So coming to the second game, which was Quetta Gladiators versus Peshawar Zalmi. I like Quetta Gladiators. I'm not biased in terms of having a favorite team, but they're a team that I always want to see doing well. Those unforgettable images of Sarfraz Ahmed holding his head in his hands and berating his players. They are painful to watch, aren't they? And I'm glad that he's no longer captain. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that because it relieves the pressure of the guy. He looked like somebody who was stressed, anxious, not enjoying the job as captain. And when your skipper is in that frame of mind, then it affects the other players. It affected the team's performance. I think he was trying to do too much himself in terms of the fielding, the wicket keeping, organising the team, and also with the bat as well. So I think it's a good thing, really, that Rilee Rossouw has come in as skipper. Rossouw, calm. We saw today, he wasn't flustered at all. He's got senior heads around him to support him. He's not captained a lot in T20 cricket, but he's played all over the world. He has a lot of experience in T20 cricket, and you can always rely on Sarfraz Ahmed to support him. But it was good to see Rilee Rossouw out there organising that Quetta Gladiators team. And the other name that I'd like to mention is Shane Watson. Now, Shane Watson isn't somebody who will hold back when it comes to praising or criticising his players. I can imagine if Quetta Gladiators put in a rubbish performance out on the field, Shane Watson will not hold back in terms of telling them what they did wrong and where they need to improve. He's no shrinking violet, and I wouldn't like to be on that team bus or the dressing room for Quetta Gladiators if they've put in a terrible performance. But it's a fantastic start for them. It's good to see Quetta Gladiators get off the mark in their first game of the tournament. And, many will have felt that Peshawar Zalmi were probably the slight favourites going into their team. But I think Quetta have changed their tactics a little bit. Interesting move to put Saud Shakil at the top of the innings. Wasn't so sure. I'm still not convinced he's a T20 batter, certainly an opening batter, but he's there to prove his critics wrong. So I hope he has a good tournament. And as I say, it's an interesting choice. Having him there with Jason Roy and Rilee Rossouw, um, at batting at number 3, that's a pretty strong top 3 they've got. Excuse me. I think Jason Roy is the key in terms of their batting. If he has a good tournament and he's available throughout the tournament, then Quetta Gladiators are a different team. Obviously, we've seen Jason Roy in the past. If he's off the boil, not at his best, then Gladiators struggle. So they rely a lot on him. Mohammad Ahmed with the ball, I think he's a fantastic acquisition for Quetta Gladiators. We saw today 4 overs of class bowling, really. I mean, mix the pace up, mix the length up, bowl some fantastic bounces. Clever, smart bowling. Not trying to be too creative in terms of what he was doing, but he's a shrewd campaigner, and I still believe, obviously, he's good enough for international cricket. It's his decision that he doesn't want to play for Pakistan, but you look through those bowling lineups, and Quetta Gladiators will be very happy that they've got Mohammad Ahmed in team. So he's an important bowler for them, providing he stays fit. And when he's fired up, he's as good as any bowler in the PSL, I think. The only sort of worrying thing is regarding Quetta Gladiators is the strength and depth in terms of their squad. Have they got the backups in their batting and bowling departments if they suffer any injuries? But only time will tell. Let's wait and see. And as I say, that's a good start for them. Peshawar Zalmi, I thought they were a bit predictable today with both bat and ball. You pretty much knew what to expect with that top 3 of Babar Azam, Saim Ayub, and Mohammad Haris. I think Babar Azam played well, but it's another case of a 50 by him in a losing cause. His critics will say, well, he should have batted a little bit more and scored more runs for Zalmi, but, he can't do everything himself, can he? I thought with the ball as well, they were a little bit predictable. And you sort of knew regarding the bowling changes who was going to bowl next and what was coming next. And I think Quetta had planned their the match against Peshawar Zalmi really well. I think Darren Sammy's got his hands full there at Zalmi, because looking through that squad, yeah, they've got some match winners there, but if I was a Zalmi fan, I'd be a little bit worried in terms of strength and depth in that squad, and and the number of match winners they've got. Yeah, I've mentioned the likes of Sami Ayub, Mohammed Harris, and Babar Azam, but I think they need more from some of their other players as well, especially with the ball in this tournament. So I think, as I say, Darren Sammy has got a tough task ahead of him. Um, and then coming to the final match, Multan Sultans, Karachi Kings. Let's start with Karachi Kings, really. I think the last 21 matches in the PSL, they've won 4, lost 17. Yeah, tough to be a Karachi Kings fan, isn't it? It seems to be a case of whoever the players are, whoever the coaching staff is, it's the same results, isn't it? They were absolutely outclassed today by Multan Sultans. I think with the ball, they were sloppy, a lot of poor deliveries, a lot of freebies. They pulled it back a little bit, but then lost their way towards the end of the innings as well. And that total that Multan Sultans put up was always going to be tough one to chase for Karachi Kings. And then with the bat, apart from Shoaib Malik's cameo and then Shan Masood scoring 30 or so, the skipper, there was nothing really, was there? A number of ducks and poor shots as well. A terrible start for Phil Simmons. It's a tough job he's got there, Karachi Kings. Expectations are very high. Their fans want them to do well, but if results don't start coming their way at the start of the tournament, then the pressure is going to build on the players and the coaching staff. And the Karachi Kings have got their hands full in terms of having to perform, because there are no weak teams out there in that Pakistan Super League, and Karachi Kings really need to up their games. We saw the mistakes they made last time around, and it was more of the same in this first game. But as I keep saying, it's the first game. You can turn things around. I'm sure some of the overseas acquisitions are still on their way to the tournament, so we might see next time around and in future matches changed lineups for some of them. I think some of the teams haven't been able to field their strongest 11s, but things can only get better for Karachi Kings. It couldn't get any worse. Multan Sultans, you know what you're going to get with them. They put the runs on the board and then put the pressure on. Mohammad Rizwan is an excellent captain, tactician, and he knew that total up there that they put up, despite Rizwan not scoring that heavily, really impressed with Reza Hendricks. I thought he batted beautifully. And David Malan is a fantastic T20 player. We've seen him for England and in T20 franchise leagues around the world, putting runs on the board. And Karachi Kings never really looked like they were to get that total. Shan Masood is the new skipper there. Phil Simmons is the new coach at Karachi Kings. They need to build that relationship in terms of getting the best out of the players. Shan's got a tough task ahead of him. He's obviously test captain for Pakistan and he's captain for Yorkshire in county cricket as well. But this is a different kettle of fish. The expectations of those Karachiites is very high, so they need to start winning and start winning quick. I think Multan Sultans, going back to them, will be very, very tough to beat. They're always there or thereabouts, aren't they? And they're a big tournament team. They're there for when you say it's a marathon, not a sprint, they're there for the long haul. They know how to pace these tournaments and they know how to get the best out of their players. Abdur Rahman is a shrewd coach as well. He's there now instead of Andy Flower, so he knows what he's doing as well. A couple of things regarding the tournament on a general basis. A bit disappointed with the crowds. I thought there'd be bigger crowds in Multan and Lahore. I was expecting to see full houses, but that's not really happened. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe people would rather watch the game at home. But I want to see full houses there. And I think the fielding as well is a little bit of a concern in the Pakistan Super League. I think it always has been. We know what to expect with the ball. The bowling is a strength. Some good batters around. But the fielding really needs to improve in the Pakistan Super League. And hopefully going forward, we will see an improvement in the bowling, in the fielding department as well. And also, it's good to see some of the youngsters being given a chance. I love the fact that there's an emerging player in each side. Good to see Mohammad Zishan playing today at the under-19 pacer, and several others doing well on debut in the Pakistan Super League, which is always great to see. I always have this strong belief that the Pakistan Super League should be a tournament that nurtures and produces players of the future, players who can go on and play for Pakistan. It has done that, and long may it continue. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of the tournament. I'll be doing these videos throughout the tournament, so keep watching them. Thanks very much.